Hey guys, Walls here. Just wanted to give you guys a little overview of how the article of the week works and kind of go through and show you what I was thinking as I read this. All right, so here's what we've got. Make sure I'm still recording here. Yep. All right, so here's what we've got. How pandemics change society. Now, you can see that I have underlined and written stuff in the margins, and that's key. So as you mark your confusion and show evidence of a close reading, don't just underline a bunch of stuff and don't just write a whole bunch of stuff in the margins. Like, I should see that what you underline or what you have in the margins is connected to what you underline. So you're going to be underlining specific words or sentences or ideas in the article and writing little notes about that stuff in the margin. So you can see I've underlined a couple of words here, blighted and lucid, and this dude's name that starts with a TH, just because blighted and lucid, there might be some confusion about the meaning of those words, so I'm going to kind of look those up and just clarify I know exactly what they're talking about. I thought that dude's name was funny, so I underlined it. Now, in the first paragraph, I underlined Black Death and Spanish flu, because those are some pandemics I've heard of. And then I underlined this transformed healthcare, economics, religion, the way we socialize and the way we work, because it sounds like a big impact. So when I read that statement, I was like, that sounds like a pretty big impact. So that's what I wrote. So again, like your annotations are kind of like you're having a conversation with the writing itself. It's just going to help me see what you were thinking as you read it, and it's also going to help you kind of clear up your thoughts about what you are reading. So second paragraph, I wrote gross about the stuff that happens to people. I thought it was interesting that at the Justinian plague actually fueled the rapid rise of Christianity, because there's plagues that are part of the Christian tradition in the Old Testament, and then you've got this idea that a plague that happened after in AD 541, after all that stuff, actually helped Christianity spread. Thought that was interesting. Interesting connection there. So you got the Black Death in this paragraph. I know all about this one. I've read about the Black Death a billion times. We might read a short story that deals with the Black Death later on. So not a lot of notes for me there. Now in this last paragraph, I underlined ending feudalism. I thought that was interesting because this paragraph points out that the Black Death was terrible, but it actually helped improve labor conditions in Europe. So sometimes something good comes from something really bad. All right, second page. So this other pandemic, I thought this was interesting, that the Louisiana Purchase was actually heavily influenced, or like a precursor to the Louisiana Purchase was an epidemic, an outbreak of yellow fever. I had read about the Louisiana Purchase in high school. I just never knew that part of the reason it went through, or a huge chunk of the reason it went through, was literally a fever, a flu. All right, so Spanish flu, I've heard of this one, been reading about this one a little bit since what happened in 1917, 1918 is similar to what is happening now. But one thing I thought was interesting is that it originated in Kansas. We call it the Spanish flu, but it originated in Kansas, so technically the Spanish flu was an American export. And again, just like the previous paragraph, it talks about how this particular outbreak had a very, very significant influence on geopolitical stuff. In this case, war. So the First World War and then the Second World War. But at the end there's a note that one of the things that came out of the Spanish flu was the universal healthcare systems that are still in operation in Western European countries. So again, this idea that positive can come from horrible stuff. Last paragraph I find interesting just because this was written almost a year ago, and we're starting to see some of the effects that the COVID-19 pandemic has had on society, and it's just interesting to look back on a time when people weren't exactly sure. So again, down here it goes over some of the lessons that we might have to learn the hard way because of all this. But then again, there is this concept throughout the article that sometimes positive things can come out of these types of situations. So, this is very informal. This is just read and then write your thoughts in the margins. Basically, that's it. When you get to the possible response questions for your one plus page reflection, just tie in some of the stuff you underline. That's a great way to figure out what you want to write about, is to go back through the article and write about what you thought was interesting, write about what you thought was confusing, write about what you thought was what you want to know more about, basically. If this clears everything up, great. If it doesn't, ask me some questions on Google Classroom. Let me know, guys. Hope you're having a good weekend, and if you are working from home, and you're watching this video, you should have just gotten this particular article in your take-home packets if you're doing paper packet only. So if you're doing paper packets and you've got this, then get this back to me next Friday. Otherwise, let me know if you have any questions, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.